Alright, hi there. My name is Ian and I lived in Taiwan between 2004 and 2006. So about 2 years, and then I also I went back there in 2009 for about a month. So I'm going to talk a little bit about living expenses in Taiwan. And okay, from when I first started, I'll start with the housing, okay? So from when I first started, that was about the first place I lived in. I got rented a room in an apartment. By then, you know, I had spent a lot of money on visa runs and stuff like that. So I was there for 3 months. So anyways, I paid about $3,000 a month, I think. I can't quite remember that apartment very well. I wasn't there very long. I was there for maybe like 2 months. So 3,000 NT. I think last I knew was close to $100. So you can check it out. Look at xe.com or oanda.com. So after that, I moved to a studio, and this is in Taichung. Okay, so in Taichung, I moved to a studio, and that studio cost about 6,000 NT a month, and it was pretty new, and it was a fairly spacious studio, pretty long, had a good sized big window on it in the front, kind of like a shoebox shape sort of place, and pretty new. I paid 6,000 a month, and it didn't have a kitchen though. And this is kind of common, like you'll find a lot of like studio apartments in Taiwan, they don't have kitchens, a lot of them. So it's kind of usual, maybe for students or something like that. So I paid 6,000 a month from that. And then, let's see, in the same city I had friends. I had a couple friends who rented an apartment, and they had a 3-bedroom apartment, and they paid 12,000 NT a month. So 12,000 NT would, I think probably somewhere around between $400 and $500, and that was a 3-bedroom, and they lived pretty much right in downtown Taichung. And yeah, that's not too much. Maybe they paid 12,500 or something like that. So it's pretty cheap. So you can find pretty cheap housing in Taiwan. Now, up in Taipei, that's probably a different story. It's going to cost more up there. I mean, cost of living is going to be more up there, So that was my experience with Taichung, And then I lived in Tainan. And when I lived in Tainan, I had roommates. I rented a room in an apartment house. I had like quite a few. I had like 3 or 4 roommates. And I paid 3,000 for one room, a small one room, and I shared like a shower with another girl who rented a room next to me. And then there was a kitchen and stuff like that, but I never used that. So that's pretty cheap. Again, that's around like $100. So pretty cheap. Now, like, what else about Taiwan? Okay, a scooter. Scooter is, I mean, if you're gonna buy a used scooter, you could maybe get one for like a few $100s or something like that. I had a couple scooters. The only one I can remember, I think I paid. Let me think. I think I paid. The number I have in my mind is around 14,000, which would be right around $500 or something like that, maybe a little bit more. And that was a used 125. So scooters, yeah, they can cost money. If you buy a new one, you could spend $1,000 or more easily. So, or you want a motorcycle, you got to pay more. Most people drive scooters, and scooters are often a good idea in most cities. It depends. Like Taipei, you wouldn't need one in Taipei, and you probably wouldn't need one in Kaohsiung. Although Kaohsiung, because both those cities have like a public transportation. They both have. Little stretch. They both have public transportation, like a subway system, which is decent. But Kaohsiung's is not very. There's not many stops. Doesn't really cover much of the city. So last I knew, they could have expanded on it. That was 2009. And Taipei's is good though, so you wouldn't really need one there. But pretty much other cities, you're probably going to need a scooter. Anyways, other expenses. Say food. Now you can eat pretty cheap in Taiwan. Definitely you can eat pretty cheap. Like I would spend, actually the whole time I lived in Taiwan, I almost always ate out. Every single meal I almost always ate out. And then I was a vegetarian then, so I always ate vegetarian foods, loads of vegetarian restaurants there. And yeah, pretty cheap. And you know, you can eat like $3 meals, no problem. That's not a problem. You could eat like a pretty good meal for like $3. So $3, maybe around 100, you know, 100 NT, 120 NT. You can find meals for that much, you know, no problem. They'll probably be pretty good. You can definitely pay more than that too. Usually if you want more like international food, you got to pay more. Same with groceries. If you want international food, you got to pay more. So yeah, you can eat pretty cheap. And really on the cheap end, there's like some buffet places. Those are usually cheaper. Those are like sometimes around 100 NT or even less. There's some I went to that sometimes were only like 60 NT or 70 NT, you know. So, but usually if you want your own dish, you're gonna pay pretty easily pay around 100 NT or more. So you can get by, you know, like, so pretty much I did that, yeah, for 2 years. I pretty much ate out all the time, every day for 2 years, you know. It was only in the very end I had a kitchen and I was doing some cooking, but the other places I didn't even have a kitchen where I was living, so I always ate out. So you can definitely do that in Taiwan, and yeah. So that would be an expense. Other than that, like buses, I can't remember how much, but they were cheap. Most people don't drive. Most foreigners won't ride on buses. That's gonna do it.